as the new issues are emerging, which need a solution, no wahy is coming after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So how and where from will be the solution? So that will be through ijtihad. And we mentioned before that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was doing ijtihad when it was needed. In his time, Sahaba were doing ijtihad when they were in need of. And after him, in the time of Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, whenever any issue emerged, so Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he used to summon major Sahaba or Majlis Shura. If anybody knows any word of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam regarding this issue, if they said yes, so then Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala was going for that hadith. There is no need of ijtihad. There is a qaida fiqhiyya. I have mentioned it there in al-qaid al-fiqhiyya. La ijtihada ma'an nas. What?
La ijtihada ma'an nas.
La ijtihada ma'an nas. When text is there, so there is no ijtihad. Like one issue came to Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, that if the mother of the deceased is not alive and his grandmother is alive, from father's side or mother's side, because from mother's side the grandfather is called Jadd Fasid, and from father's side the grandfather is called Jadd Sahih. Got it?
Yes.
But from both sides the grandmother is Jadda Sahiha. That one is called Jadd Fasid because he is related to the deceased through woman. He is related to the deceased through woman. His daughter, which is the mother of the deceased. So a grandmother came. If she has any share in the inheritance of her grandson, so Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala anhu said, لا أجد هذا في كتاب الله ولا أعلم بها من رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. I cannot find any solution of this case in the book of Allah, nor I have anything from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Personally, I don't know that. So let me consult Sahaba. So he summoned the Shura. So Mughira ibn Shu'bah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he says, yes, one grandmother came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, فَأَعْتَاهَا الرَّسُولُ السُّدْسَ فَرْضَ الْأُمِّ. أَعْتَاهَا الرَّسُولُ السُّدْسَ فَرْضَ الْأُمِّ. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave her 1/6 of the property, which is actually the share of the mother. But now the mother is dead, so the grandmother replaced her, and she is also considered mom. She's also considered mother. Got it? So Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when he heard it, so he said, anybody else who can second it? Got it? Support. So Muhammad ibn Maslama radiallahu ta'ala said, yes, the issue he is referring to, I was there as well. Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam gave her 1/6 Fardh al-Umm. Got it? Now, why too much ijtihad was needed in the time of Khulafa Rashidin? Because, number one, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not there. In his lifetime, whenever something happened, so he came. Now no wahi, so there was only one solution, ijtihad. And number two, Islamic State expanded. People of different culture, they accepted Islam and became citizens. So every area has their own culture. So what about a specific issue, if that emerged? And as we mentioned before, keep in mind that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam even did not abolish all the customs and conventions of people. He classified it into 3 categories. Good as a whole, he kept it. Like blood money, which is evaluated by 100 camel. That was actually the custom of people before Islam. Bad custom as a whole, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam abolished it from day one, like shirk. What was shirk? Shirk was not a deen, that was a culture. And that is a culture. That was a culture. And that is a culture. But there is no room for shirk in Islam. So from day one, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam demolished it. And a custom, partially good and partially bad. So he reformed it. Like people who are doing their marriages according to their culture. So marriage, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam kept it. But the wrong things in marriage, he threw it away. Sahaba rizwanullahi alayhim ajma'een, they were not making hurry in decision. And if regarding a new issue, they had difference of opinion, so they were giving lot of respect to the opinion of one another. And as Khalifa was the responsible one to implement the law, so whatever was decided by Majlis Shura and Khalifa accepted that, so then that became law of the land. So no sects, no grouping, no differences. So that procedure was going on in the time of first three Khulafa, Abu Bakr, Umar and Usman radiyallahu anhum ajma'in. And as we mentioned, that in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, when he established the state of Medina, so that was only 276 square miles. How much? 276 square miles. In his lifetime, in 10 years, it was expanded to 1 million square mile. Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, mostly, he was busy controlling the situation in the very beginning. And later on, the conquest was going ahead. And lot of conquest happened in the time of Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. So when Umar passed away radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, so Islamic State was 2.2 million square miles. Then the first 6 years of Sayyidina Usman, he was going right and left, west and east and north and south like a wind. Even though when he became Khalifa, he was 70 plus, old man. And by nature, he was very soft man. But regarding deen, he was the utmost strict man. Got it? So, when Sayyidina Usman radiyallahu ta'ala passed away, Islamic State was 6.6 million square miles. From 2.2 to how much?
6.6.
3 times. Correctly 3 times. Round figure. Almost 3 continents he controlled. To almost as a whole, Asia and Africa. And a part of Europe. And thus, this conspiracy started. Because whenever there will be any hardship for Europe and Western world, so then they don't stop. That is their nature. Is it or not?
Yeah.
So then they say, oh, create a problem for him inside. Yes? So they installed Abdullah ibn Sabah. But in the time of Usman radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, even in the time of Muawiyah, not even a single inch of Islamic Khilafah was taken by non-Muslim. Got it? Even though their disputes were going on, but not a single inch. Got it? They never lost a single inch to non-Muslim powers. But as the state was expanded too much, and Medina Munawwara was no more the center of that state, geographically. So when Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala became Khalifa, he asked the Sahaba that Medina is no more the center of Khilafat. Means because on one side people they are too far from Medina, on the other side they are close to. And for capital, this is a well-known principle that it should be somewhere in the middle. Somewhere in the middle, because they're just like pivot. The whole state is roaming around that capital. That was the ijtihad of Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. So he said that I want that Kufa will be a best place. Got it?
Yes.
So many Sahaba, they deferred this point of view. That to leave Medina, that is not good. Number one, their affiliation to the city of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And number two, they were of the view that if we will disconnect ourselves from Medina to Rasul, so fitnas will start. Got it? Fitna will start. And Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala, he thought otherwise. That they are that much in love with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that they don't want to leave Medina. Because they had a reservation that now Ali will order us, let's move where? To Kufa. So Ali radiallahu ta'ala made the case easy for them. And he gave option that whosoever want to join me moving to Kufa, well and good. Who want to stay in Medina, well and good. Who want to go back to Mecca, well and good. Anywhere else, Damascus or Cairo or whatever. So you can go there. And thus, Sahaba ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'in, they dispersed. Now, the same type of shura didn't remain with Ali radiallahu ta'ala as it was in the time of three Khulafa. Because Sahaba dispersed. Got it? And as they were ulama of Quran and Sunnah, every Sahabi was a mujtahid. And in different area, different culture, different situation, new issues. So the people of the area used to approach a Sahabi who was living there. And he was giving his opinion. He was giving his opinion. And therefrom, differences of opinion started and people adopted it. And that is actually the base of mazahib. The concept of mazhab came therefrom. That year, in Medina, there is Abdullah ibn Umar. People are approaching him. Yes? In Taif, there is Abdullah ibn Abbas. People are approaching him. In Kufa, there is Abdullah ibn Masud. People are approaching him. And just say like this. In every city, there was a great Sahabi. People used to approach him. And what is ijtihad? Solution for a new emerged issue having no solution in Quran and Sunnah. This is ijtihad. But in the light of Quran and Sunnah. So in the light of Quran and Sunnah, who can do it? A proper alim of Quran and Sunnah. And every Sahabi was a proper alim of Quran and Sunnah. That's number one. And number two, look at the situation people are living therein. If an alim is doing ijtihad, he is not looking at the situation people are living therein. He will be riding a blind donkey. Got it?
Yeah.
So now, for example, in Kufa, the situation was different than the situation in Makkah. And thus, the opinion of a alim or a sahabi in Makkah was different than the opinion of a sahabi there in Kufa. Got it?
Yeah.
Then after Ali radiallahu ta'ala, Sayyidina Muawiyah, he made Damascus as the capital. In the time of Muawiyah radiallahu ta'ala as a whole, the state was in good shape. But after him, the situation was changed. Political disturbance, number one. Social disturbance, Number 2, religious sects. Number 3, even the rulers, they were ignoring the instructions of Deen. As we mentioned that with all these khulafa, the great Sahaba used to sit and they were doing ijtihad. But now, instead of the great scholars, majority of these khulafa, who were sitting with them? The singers, the magicians, the musicians, the comedians, yes, and the stories narrators and things like that. So now Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Ar-rajulu ala dini khalilihi, falyanzur ahadukum ila man yukhalil." That the deen of everyone is the deen of his body. The deen of his body. So Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, before making a person your body, yes, think of his deen, that what type of deen he has. Got it? And how much deen he is. If not in 1 week or 1 month, in 1 year, you will turn to his. Got it? الرجل على دين خليله فلينظر أحدكم إلى من يخالل. So now, after Muawiyah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, mostly the Sahaba passed away. Now there were tabi'een, great ulama, the students of Sahaba. But when they were looking at the khulafa, that what they are doing and how they are dealing, so they avoided to sit with them because they had a bitter experience with them, that they are listening to a fatwa which is of their convenience. Got it? They do not take an opinion which is going against their convenience. So then, giving your opinion to such a person is not going to accept it. Why you are going it? Don't give it. So that's why the ulama, they were avoiding to sit with them. So, a few evils arose there. Number 1, ijma and consensus of opinion almost disappeared because the ulama, they dispersed to various cities. Got it? Yeah. Number 2, as they were looking for a fatwa to their convenience, so-called ulama, yes, ulluma, yeah. We call them what? Ulluma. Yeah, their mother was owl. Got it? You know? Owl? Yes, the bird.
Yes.
Owl. O-W-L?
Yes.
O-W-L. Owl. Yes, so the owl. So instead of ulama, we call them ulluma.
But Qazi Saheb, over here, owl is a kind of, they consider it very wise. They put owl where, for studies and like very wise.
Because there is no treatment for superstitions. So that's why, to get something from khulafa, some ulama started making hadith. So-called ulama, they started what? Making hadith according to their convenience.
The ones that identify themselves.
Huh?
Identify themselves.
Yes. And number 3, They were so-called ulama, so they did not have any raghbat and inclination to ijtihad. Got it? Now look, I told a few ulama in Pakistan that why people do not follow imams because they do not understand fiqh. So the easy way is that we don't follow any imam. Why people deny hadith because they don't know it. So the easy way is just to say, got it? And that's why the authentic ulama, they were getting tortured by the politicians or by the people in authority. You will name or you can name any one of them. They got tortured. Sufyan ibn Uyayna, Sufyan Sawri, Imam Awza'i, Waqi ibn al-Jarrah, Imam Shabi, Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Malik, Ahmad ibn Hanbal, all of them, they got tortured because they were asking them to give us a fatwa like this. Yes? Yeah. And Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi, when the governor said that Khalifa wants a fatwa like this, so he said, why he wants fatwa? Because he has given it already. Yes. That when you are mentioning that he wants a fatwa like this, so it means that he has given fatwa. So why is he is a Khalifa? Yes. He said, I am a mullah. He is a Khalifa. He is an authority. He has given fatwa. He doesn't need my opinion. So that's why he was tortured in the time of Banu Umayyah and in the time of Banu Abbas both. Yes?
Yes.
Now when someone says something about these great imams, so I say, guy, if you will go for that torture for one day, yes, so you will deny Allah and Rasulullah as well. Yes, you will become kafir. Yes, and these people, they say, no way. Imam Malik, he was beaten to such an extent that his ribs were broken and both hands were broken. He said, no, that's not Sharia. Imam Shafi, he was fettered and brought fettered from Palestine to Baghdad, walking on foot. The police, they were on their camels, and Imam Shafi in fetters he was walking. When he arrived in Baghdad, all his legs were bleeding. Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, rahimahullah, he was beaten to such an extent that he died in prison. Got it?
Yes.
Now, they had a fear that these so-called ulama, they are giving their opinion according to the will of the qualified people in authority. We have to save and protect this deen and to preserve it. So now all these ulama which I mentioned the names, they were mujtahideen as well, but their work never compiled. Their work never compiled. Why? Because they couldn't find such students to compile their work. One man cannot do that. Now look, I write, yes, if the ulama there in Pakistan and these brothers here in America, if they would not have been here, so who would have typed all these books and composed it and then compiled it in shape of book? Got it? Modi Yusuf knows in Karachi, there are ulama, yes, but they are writing lot of books. So what they do? They say that, yes, these 2 pages, you have to write it. And these 2 pages from this book, you have to write it. And they compile it in a new book. Yes or not? They are doing like this. And I write every single word in with my pen. Yes. And not on computer. Because I don't know typing. Yes. And that's why the ulama in Pakistan, they asked me, they said, all these writing you are doing with your hands? I said, no, with my feet also. Yes. And then I told them that at night, actually I swallow one rim of paper. And early in the morning, from my right and left hand, here the printing is coming out. They said, if we will say, we cannot write one page even. Yes, this is just like a killing. But to these four great Imams, that's also a blessing of Allah. All others were also the friends of Allah. But amongst the friends, these four were too much like to Allah and beloveds of Allah, that Allah provided them such like students that they compiled their work. They compiled their work. So now on one hand, the work is compiled. On the other hand, in later times, their followers became in authority. They became the rulers. They became the rulers. So they implemented their fiqh. So wherever the Hanafi rulers were there, so the Hanafi fiqh was introduced. Where the rulers were Hanbalis, so the Hanbali fiqh is introduced. Like in Saudi Arabia nowadays, the Hanbali fiqh is, why? Because the rulers are Hanbalis. Yes or not?
Yes.
Got it? Now, another topic. That when fiqh was compiled, to what extent it was influenced by the circumstances. So on one hand, these fuqaha and aimma, they were compiling the fiqh of Sahaba and Tabi'in and Atba'u Tabi'in. But on the other hand, three groups, Rawafiz, Shia, Khawarij and Mu'tazila, they compiled their own books based on rationalism. Based on what? Rationalism. Because to them, Sahaba are not the authority. So when the Sahaba are not the authority, so the issue is there. So how you will bring forth the solution? We say, Sayyidina Umar decided like this. We say Abu Bakr decided like this. We say Ali said like this. We say Osman decreed like this. Yes, but they don't do that. So they are going for what? For rationalism. And they said, because keeping in view all the history which I gave you, that how the Khulafa, they were forcing the ulama to give an opinion to their convenience. God-fearing ulama, they avoided that. They suffered a lot, but they were strict to their opinion, that no way. And so-called, they started it. But now, the so-called, their opinion was condemned by these God-fearing ulama, that this is nonsense. Got it?
Yes.
And their students compiled their fiqh. So those three groups, they give this right of ijtihad to their own mujtahideen. And they say that this is a continuous process until the day of judgment. Got it? On the other hand, Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, they say, Al-Ijtihadul Mutlaq, that is stopped. Al-Ijtihadul Mutlaq,
Then stop.
that is stopped. Ijtihad will be only for issue newly emerges. Got it? And that's why we are giving fatwa. We don't say that my opinion is like this. We said, according to such and such book, the solution of this issue is like this. As Saheb mentioned, as Ibn Abidin mentioned, yes, or as Ibn Qudama mentioned, and so on. Got it? Now, in their ijtihadat of Rawafiz, Shias, there was hatred towards Khulafa Banu Umayyah. Khawarij, they were against them. As I told you, maybe you remember or you don't remember, that how these, because 4 major sects of Islam are, we cannot declare any one of them non-Muslim. 4 major sects of Islam are, how many? 4. Number 1, Ahlul Sunnah, the majority. Number 2, the Shia. Number 3, the Khawarij. And number 4, the Mu'tazila. Got it? Shia, everybody knows how they came forth. But when Sayyidina Muawiyah and Sayyidina Ali, Raziyallahu Ta'ala in their time, the arbitration happened. So these people agreed to arbitration, not Ali. Without asking the approval of Ali, they agreed there in the battlefield for arbitration. And Sayyidina Ali said, why you did it? But as they were in the battlefield, now Ali was a man of character. He was not putting them down. He said, okay, so now we should think of an arbitrator or table talker from our side. They said, already we have given the name. So Sayyidina Ali said, whose name? They said, Abu Musa al-Ashari. He said, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. You are defeated. You are defeated. Abu Musa al-Ashari, he is not a politician. He is not a table talker. He is a judge. He is what?
A judge.
For every field there are some expert people. He said, I am very much sure from Muawiyah's side, Amr ibn al-As will come. And Amr ibn al-As, in the time of Jahiliyyah, he was sitting with Roman Empire, or Roman Emperor, that is defeated. With Persian Emperor. He said that in his history, there is not a single defeat with this superpower. Who? Say. Amr ibn al-As radiyallahu ta'ala, who is called Dahiyatul Arab. Who is called what? Dahiyatul Arab, a strategic man of Arabia. Because 4 people or 5 people, they are known politicians from amongst the Sahaba. Number 1, say, Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab. Number 2, Amr ibn al-As. Number 3, Sayyid ibn Amir. Number 4, Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. And number 5, Mughira ibn Shu'bah. These 4, they were statesmen. Keep in mind. The historians, all of them, they agreed upon this. That these 5 people in political field, they were known for their statesmanship. Sayyidina Umar, number 2, Sayyidina Amr ibn al-As, number 3, Sayyid ibn Amir, number 4, Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, number 5, Mughira ibn Shu'bah. Ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'in. So, in tahkeem and arbitration, as Ali said, Raziyallahu ta'ala, that yes, defeat is your destiny now. Now these people, they agreed for that when they got defeated. So now they changed their stance and they said that we don't believe that Muawiyah is a Muslim. Inna lillahi. We don't believe that Muawiyah is a Muslim. And as Ali agreed for arbitration with Muawiyah, so he became non-Muslim as well. So both of them are kafir. That Muawiyah is kafir and Ali is kafir. We are neither with this one nor with that one. So they are called the Khawarij. That group that came out of Shia. So they are called what? Khawarij. In the very beginning, they were called Haruriyin because when they separated themselves from Sayyidina Ali, so they gathered together in a place close to, in Iraq. That's called Harura. So that's why they are called Haruriyin. And then, after the death of Ali radiallahu ta'ala an, the people of Kufa, they gave their pledge to Sayyidina Hassan radiallahu ta'ala an. Yes? But after 6 months, Sayyidina Hassan radiallahu ta'ala gave his pledge to Muawiyah radiallahu, and that's why he is called what? What's the title of Imam Hassan? Yeah. The book Khulafa Rashidin, I have mentioned all these things. Yes, he is called Imam Wahdatul Ummah. Imam Wahdatul Ummah. That he is the Imam of the unification of Ummah. He said enough is enough. For how long we will be fighting with one another? This Ummah must be united. And that was a prophecy of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was crawling. In front of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was crawling. So Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Inna ibni hadha yashbahuni fi khalqi." This son of mine, he has a good resemblance with me. This son of mine, having a good resemblance with me. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, with this son of mine, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will unite my ummah once again. So it means the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam already made it clear that once the dispute will happen. And then, by this man, Allah will unite them. So that was the prophecy of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which became true. Got it? Otherwise, the age of Sayyidina Hassan at that time was only 7 years when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away. Got it?
Yes.
So Sayyidina Hussein was less than 6 years. So now, when Hassan radiallahu ta'ala an, he gave his pledge to Muawiyah, so from his Shias, another group came out. And they say that as he handed over Khilafat to Muawiyah, so now we are not going to get involved in politics anymore. We are only for two things, ilm and ibadah. Ilm and ibadah. And this group is called the Mu'tazila. This third group is called Mu'tazila. So now you can say that Shia is basically a political sect. That is not religious sect. That's what? Political. Because where from it came? From which issue? Khalafat. From which issue? From Khalafat. That the due right of Ummah, due right of Ahl Bayt. Just, yes, we have to have the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, and as far as our Sunni side, some people concerned as Shia side, yes, that is actually their business. So both of them, they are carrying on their business. So they are saying things. Yes. So that Khalafat after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the due right of Ahlul Bayt or the due right of Ummah. So Ahlul Sunnah says that's the due right of Ummah. Yes, and this group said that's the due right of Ahlul Bayt. Got it?
Yes.
Or not it?
Yes.
That is number one. Then from them the Khawarij came out. So that was also a political group. Because they came out of Shia. Because of what? Say, now I related the whole story. It means that you need lot of almonds. Your brain is not working.
They didn't want to get involved in politics.
No, don't throw a stray stone and a stray arrow. Yes. This is called tukka. I don't believe in tukkas. I told you that because of arbitration, they refused it and they came out. So that was also a political stand. And Mu'tazila, they became out of that fold for religious purpose, that we will be doing ibadat and we will be doing ilm only. Nothing else. Got it?
Yes.
But now, after that, Mu'tazila, they became totally politicians. Even though they separated themselves for deen, but then they were sitting with all Khulafa of Banu Abbas. Yes, and they were playing with them. Got it? And the Khawarij and the Shias, yes, they became because of politics, but they became religious. So it means that all the groups, they left their stand. They left their stand and they changed it to the opposite side. So now, because of that, there was a mess. And because of that mess, Abdullah ibn Zubayr radiallahu ta'ala an, he announced his own Khalafat in Makkah Muazzama. And in one time, the big part of Khalafat was in the control of Abdullah ibn Zubayr. Now, what the Khulafa did? Number one, they started doing the same thing the Persian Empire was doing or the Roman emperors were doing. And that was that the national exchequer belongs to the family of Khalifa. While national exchequer belongs to the state and to the general public. Yes? Exchequer, that belongs to whom? To the state and to the public. But as the Caesar and the Khosrow, these are the titles of Roman Empire, a Roman Emperor and Persian Emperor. They were using khazana or exchequer for their own, so these Khulafa, they started the same thing. Now, Sayyidina Muawiyah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when he was too old, he was Khalifa for 30 plus years. So a few Sahaba were alive at that time who were close to Sayyidina Muawiyah. And one of them was one of the five statesmen, Mughira ibn Shu'bah radiallahu ta'ala anhu. So Mughira ibn Shu'bah radiallahu ta'ala told him, Abil Mu'mineen, if you will appoint someone as Khalifa after you. He said, no, I don't want it. He said that look, after the death of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, what happened? All of them were Sahaba, but still a battle started, a fight started, a dispute started. But thanks to Allah, that Allah brought forth Abu Bakr, who kept the Ummah united. Got it? And he was afraid of such like situation after his death, so that's why he appointed Umar as Khalifa. And now, after these many disputes, how many thousands of people got killed from both sides? All of them were Muslims. So now if you die, so we don't know what will happen to the Ummah for this Khilafat. how much bloodshed will take place. So he said that, whom should I appoint? So Mughira ibn Shu'bah said, if the major Sahaba mentioned a few names, if he was alive, I would have told him that appoint him. Only the young Sahabas, they are alive, who were of 4, 5, 6 years old and at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yes, and they do not have any experience of politics. But your son, he was living besides you. And you were sending him to various missions also. So if you will appoint him, he said, who will accept it? He said that this is the situation. You should order the governors to ask people for its acceptance. Got it? So, 3 times he refused. But when again these elders, they told him, he said, but I will not ask anybody to approve it. As you are giving me the advice, so then you people have to ask the people to accept this suggestion, this proposal. Got it? So now, at least we can say that, okay, Sayyidah Muawiyah radiallahu ta'ala, he did it. But later on, it became a procedure that was wrong. That was wrong. That after father, the son, he will take over. And he will become the Khalifa. And that was actually a system which was introduced by the kings in Persia and in Rome. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وآله وأصحابه أجمعين. Go faster.